Welcome back to Corpse Party. What's going on, everyone? It's the Niskel. We're taking a look at the 3DS version of Corpse Party. Originally came out in Japan in 2015, and we got it in the States in 2016. This is a re-release of the Blood Cover Repeated Fear version of Corpse Party, with a few little extra bits added to it. So technically, this is the definitive version of Corpse Party on the 3DS. The first thing I want to talk about is what the 3DS version actually brings. Why should you play this one, besides the fact that this is the first time you could buy it physically? Well, for one thing, the graphics got a complete overhaul. If you actually take a look, the sprites actually match the HD backgrounds that the original game had. And just for comparison's sake, I went back to my old Let's Play, and good lord, the sprites do not look good by comparison. Like, they're blurred versus the background, so at least now you can actually see the sprites and all their expressive emotions. You can actually see them now, and they actually look good on the background. So I'll give it an A+. Thank you for upscaling it and, giving us something better to look at. I knew you could do it, Corpse Party. I knew you could look good. Another nice little feature added to the 3DS version, and even better when you're trying to play through the entire game and Let's Play it, a backlog feature. You can find this on the bottom screen, and just in case you accidentally, plow through all the dialogue and you miss something important, you can go back and review voiced lines. Now, the sad thing is you have to wait until you're done with a cutscene in order to listen to them, so it's kind of not even worth it. The inventory is still here, and it gives you little bits of information on what you could use these for. You'll find that on the bottom screen as well, so it's just nice to not have to go into a separate menu. You notice the little portraits on the bottom there. That shows you who you are currently controlling and how much health they have, and who is currently with you. So this means if you accidentally get hurt, something actually happens to the portraits down below. Now, this is something I didn't show off too much. I mean, I showed it off in the bad endings that you could get hurt and die, and not just, story-wise. But if you actually get too hurt, you will eventually die, of course, but if you have a little bit of health left, you can actually go back to a candle, and then you're good. Full health again. I think I even ignored the warning that the original game gave me. One of the best features, in my opinion, a friggin' skip button! I can't believe this wasn't included in the original game. Just to give an example of how quickly I was going through this, this is a long segment. It takes like 7 minutes normally to get through all this text if you're playing it just casually. It's fantastic. Welcome additions. Chapter 1's theme got an update. It's now more atmospheric. Take a listen. I love the original Chapter 1 theme, but this one's okay. Speaking of music, the opening theme got a revamp when they re-released this on 3DS. It's, again, a little more atmospheric. If you are a lover of Corpse Party lore like I am, the 3DS version added some extra profiles for you to look at. Going into these side rooms, you now have the opportunity to take a look at all the other characters that show up in the game. Now, I'm going to say right now, spoiler territory. If you haven't played the game, I would suggest skipping this bit. We're going to learn about the fates, the antagonists, everything in these side rooms. I will note that these characters will not show up until you have met them in the game one way or another, whether it be through a bad ending, whether it be through normal plot. You have to have met them in order for them to show up here in the profiles. So that's nice, just in case you happen to find this one person, you're like, oh man, let me check up on this person. I think it updates after every chapter completion. And here's a good look at all of our villains and all of our dead people, the main characters of the Heavenly Host timeline, I guess. And I love how they actually give a profile to Shimoda, the toilet ghost. He showed up in Extra Chapter 1. You know, he's a suave gentleman. Look at that hat, look at those glasses, look how hot this ghost man is. It's fantastic. I'm so glad he got a profile. The middle one is for your normal characters, your main characters, the ones who have to go through all the horrific events of Corpse Party. We already know them. Or if you don't, and you're just seeing this now, go watch the Let's Play. Trust me, it's interesting. And then you get to here. I'm so glad they did this. This is a music gallery and a CG gallery. Except it's so poorly made, I can't recommend you actually use this. It doesn't tell you the name of the track. You just click A to move on to the next song. It's so stupid. Why would you do it this way? Why not bring up a menu? And the entire soundtrack is split up into 4 different segments. You could have easily put, like, a page up where you could sort through the songs. These 5 cabinets, however, are memories or memoirs of your chapters. These are all the CGs, so again, you have to play through the chapter in order to find these and play through all the bad endings. One fun little addition that the 3DS version added is you can view all of these in 3D. Does this add anything? Absolutely not. But another addition is some of these CGs now have motion and they move. And that's fucked up in 3D. Yeah, see, a little bit of motion. Yeah, look at the pulsating. Oh my fucking god! Oh! Okay. I forgot about that one. Alright, we're gonna leave now. Jesus. Yeah, a lot of the bad endings now have motion in their CGs, and it's rightfully gruesome. I like this addition, so I've decided to add it in. The name tags are no longer one-time get. You can go through the entire chapter and get all the name tags again. This means you have an easier way to get all the name tags in the list. Speaking of name tags, take a look at Chapter 5's list. There's like 4 or 5 pages. 4 pages. But you notice how it's all complete and there isn't one missing? They kinda fixed it! Oh my god! Near the end of the Let's Play, I was so scared that this was still going to be bugged, and it was. The last name tag that is unobtainable in the PSP version is, surprise, surprise, this isn't it. You have to go into the girls' lavatory during the escape, and you can't. It is eternally bugged. You cannot get that name tag. And while playing through the 3DS version, because, you know, it's Halloween, I decided to play through this again for the first time, I thought, oh my god, they still didn't fix it. Or did they? Going through the escape, if you actually fall down one of these trapdoors when going through the special ghost puzzle, down here, they didn't fix the bug, they just moved the name tag. So now we have 100% completion. And it only took until getting a port on the 3DS to actually finish it 100%. So now we can see what happened to that person. Takuya Nishimura, a practitioner of flower ceremony and a lover of harmony and peace, renowned for quiet sophistication, died of stab wounds to the abdomen, age 25. Yeesh. Well, now we know. And you know what? It feels good to finally have 100% of the name tags. Another welcome addition is more story. When the original Let's Play ended, I did up to Extra Chapter 10, which was the end. That was all that was on the PSP version. The 3DS version added 4 more extra chapters, and let me tell you, these are chunky boys. We'll be looking at those in a separate bonus. Also in the 3DS version, which was also included in the original, you can look up how to die or how your character died in the chapter completion. You can look at all your endings. The 3DS version does you a little favor and tells you what actually happened, such as severing your own tongue with scissors. Or, of course, attacked and enveloped by black mist-like spirits. But what's that there? Huh. There's one extra ending in Chapter 1 and an extra ending in Chapter 5. Are you telling me the 3DS version may have added some extra bad endings? We're gonna have to look at that. Although I do love the descriptors they give for a lot of these wrong ends. Attacked and killed by a darkened Naomi. Trapped in Heavenly Host for all eternity. Doomed to repeat the cycles of Heavenly Host. A.k.a. Book of Shadows. Also, the extra chapters now count as endings. I wanted to make a special note of this because Extra 1 has 3 endings. The good one and 2 bad ones. These now count towards 100% completion. Such as literally going in, seeing, not talking to the toilet ghost and leaving, that's a wrong end. And then when you have to see the red spirits being killed by them. So now every extra chapter has an ending. Which means there are so many bad endings in these new extra chapters. We're gonna have a fun time. Anyway, speaking of endings, in Chapter 1, they added a new way to die. The Victim's Memoirs. They're back! They added one to Chapter 1. There is a downside to this, but let's go ahead and read. Let our parting be but temporary. I send thee flowers, my beautiful flower, and thou wastest eternal for my return. Beautiful flowers thou canst see. And shouldst I e'er break free of this hell, and retake my place at thy side. These words I couldn't never say, and these feelings I couldn't never give, with all be laid bare for thee. Aw, how poetic. I'll just be going through the different rooms where the victim's memoirs show up. Same thing as the other memoirs, you have to read them numerically in order to get the next one to appear. So here's 2 out of 5. Alas, the only flowers that bloom in hell are white as freshly fallen snow. So on a lark, thy heart, pure as a heart can be, I wish to stab with pins and scatter the petals. Let the white flowers be dyed red by thee. Okay, we're already diving into madness. That's great. Good to know. Oh, dear Lord. It's going downhill fast. 3 out of 5. Woe is the me who never stopped loving me. If thou choosest to move on, I will always love thee forevermore, 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 forever. That was a long pause. Woe is the me whose crotch is raw and bloody is scratched. It so much I want to show it to thee, to prove that it is thine and that I still love thee. I hope you don't love me that much. I have a feeling you want to kill me and spread my blood on flower petals. Well, it's only ramping up from here. Let's see what message 4 of 5 says. Didn't want to see your face. Your face is for no one but me, as I burn in the fires of hell. I continue to live here. I am not dead yet. Let our pot pour up. The remainder of the page is caked with blood, so thick as to obscure any further writing. Methinks the 5th memoir might not be so nice. Last but not least, up in the East Hall on the 3rd floor, the 5th memoir, and the game does give you a warning. The 5th and final chapter of the victim's memoirs is sitting on the ground here. Read it? Let's have a look. 5 out of 5. You can't apologize to me with your debt, you bit! I'm going your tests from your body! make red flowers bloom, and that white skin of your this to tell if you're a boy or girl I'm done with you! Seiko? Seiko? Poor girl. Poor girl. Seiko! Naomi, you poor girl. You poor, poor girl. Seiko! What's happened to you? Seiko! Seiko! No! Please! Seiko's spirit was clearly not entirely intact. She was a shell of her former self, and it didn't seem like she was coming back. It had been around 4 days since we'd gotten trapped in this school, give or take. And the two of us were stuck here, forever, alone, together in this hell, never again to see another living being while we still drew breath. Naomi? Seiko? Naomi? Seiko, have you finally come back to your senses? You have no idea how worried I was. Naomi, you poor girl, you poor, poor girl. I can't take this anymore. I can't take it anymore. Oh! Unfortunately, that entire scene is not voiced. This was added in entirely separate. Which kinda sucks, because I totally would have loved to have heard this voiced. And take a look at this wrong end screen. I like the original. I mean, it doesn't even have any animation. The original looks great. It even has the bloody handprint. So, your wrong end number 4, or wrong end number 3, is read the victim's memoirs to completion and succumb to the darkening. Well, that's tragic. Re-added to the 3DS version. This was originally cut from the PSP version. In Chapter 5, this ends up happening randomly. Hello, welcome to my nightmare, being covered in a vat of bugs. Out of nowhere, you are dropped into a maze of sorts. This was originally in the Japanese remake of Corpse Party, when they started getting the sprites, when they got professional actors, and then when it came over to the PSP in America, this was cut out, which explains why this one is fully voiced and not the victim's memoirs from Chapter 1. Ew. Oh, even fucking worse, being submerged into a vat of bugs. Yeah, be careful going into that corner because you get sent back to the opposing corner. And an entire minute to figure out this maze where you have no indication on where you need to go, except for when you get bitten harder by the bugs, you know that's a dead end. So, please make it.
よし、いいぞ。もう少しだ。こうして大しろ。泳いでくるんだ。よし。もう少しだ。よし。ああ、じっとしてろ。全部取ってやる。よし、もう大丈夫だ。大丈夫だぞ。立てるか。さあ、肩を貸すから。大丈夫か、ゆか。
Yeah, Naomi, I feel the exact same way. This is just a small extra puzzle bit. As soon as you're done, you end up where you need to be. But that's not what you came here for. There's a reason I had to show this off, because of course, if you run out of time... Oh, if you hate bugs, look away. Oh my god. Kill me. Not by bugs. They even left in the sound effect of her being eaten alive. Gah! Drowned in a pool of insects. No thank you! Ugh. Just imagine playing through and trying to get the true ending and all of a sudden you just fall in a pool of bugs. But that is it. You know, it was a lot of fun playing through this again. And, you know, getting to replay one of my favorite horror games, and with a new coat of paint. I mentioned that this was one of the only options to get the game physically in North America. It actually came with a special edition, where you got a nice box showing off the horrors of Corpse Party. You get to see all the main characters inside the box. You get to see somebody eviscerated on the manual. That's nice. What I liked about it is you get little figures. So if you're really into Corpse Party, you get a little Naomi and Seiko figure, and you can change their faces and how scared they are. One of my favorite bits, though, is actually being able to get a soundtrack. I really enjoy the soundtrack of Corpse Party, and now I can see all, 41 different tracks on this? Good God. And, spoilers again, on the disc. Yeah, you get to see probably one of the saddest scenes in the game. You know, I was about to record commentary for this episode, and then Japan announced that they were bringing Corpse Party to Switch. This exact version onto the Switch, with all the extra scenes voiced. So the victims' memoirs are now being voiced, the extra chapters are now being voiced. Spoiler alert, the new extra chapters do not have voiceover in them unless it's repeated dialogue. So that's nice. Will I be going over that version? No. Because it looks like the only thing they're adding is the extra voiceover and the ability to play on Switch. Speaking of, bring all the Corpse Party games to Switch. It is absolutely ridiculous that we cannot play the entire series on one system. We're close. This is the only game that hasn't made it to PC yet. Get your act together. But then again, it might be a licensing nightmare, so I completely understand. Next time on Corpse Party, we'll be taking a look at extra chapters 11 and 12, and then 13 and 14. And when I say they're chunky boys, yeah, I think you'll enjoy your time. Also, it'll be my blind experience. I've never seen these chapters before, and this was recorded after I recorded those. See you guys next time.